Nazi piece of shit. Here, I got another one for you. Oh, suck my fucking Turkish cock, bitch. You little Nazi baby. Ooh, I'm mad. Fuck Palestine. Some of the most defenseless people out there on the fucking planet, completely written off by the rest of the supposed intellectuals of the Western world, and you're over here fucking flexing. Cry harder, you fucking Nazi! Cry harder, you fucking Nazi piece of shit. Here, I got another one for you. Oh, suck my fucking Turkish cock, bitch. You little Nazi baby. Ooh, I'm mad. Fuck Palestine. Some of the most defenseless people out there on the fucking planet, completely written off by the rest of the supposed intellectuals of the Western world, and you're over here fucking flexing in the eve of any sort of fucking decency coming from any sort of European institution. I never thought I would ever see the day in my whole damn life. Ironic also coming from a person who is defending Israel. I have never denied the Armenian genocide. Israel has. Just saying. على أرض تلاقيني أنا لأهلي أنا فديهم أنا دمي فلسطيني 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 أنا دمي فلسطيني على أرض تلاقيني أنا لأهلي أنا فديهم. We're gonna do it. Me and Brace Belden, hand in hand, citizens arrest for the International People's Tribunal against the war criminals Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant. This ideology is so weird. What ideology? Being against genocide? That's not a weird ideology. I guess it's weird if you're so used to permanent genocide being the normative position, you know? But I am not. Regardless of how normalized it is, I will always fight against that sort of thing. So you look extra Turkish today? I know. I noticed that I am looking particularly like very Arab Unk coded or very Turkish Unk coded. Anyway, I mean, this is my dad's jacket, so. All right. Let's get it started.
We interrupt our programming on Al Jazeera to bring you some breaking news. And the International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for alleged war crimes in the Gaza Strip. It's also issued warrants for Hamas leader Mohammed Diab al-Masri. Let's bring in Step Vassen, who's on the phone from The Hague, where those arrest warrants were issued. Talk to us about what the rejects for these warrants say.
Yes, the court has just issued these arrest warrants, 3 arrest warrants, one for Hamas leader known as Dave, and 2 for the Israeli leaders Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. The arrest warrants are for crimes against humanity and war crimes committed from at least October 8, 2023, until the request for the arrest warrants was issued by the prosecutor 6 months ago on May the 20th. There have been some really serious delays for issuing these arrest warrants. There was a lot of questions about if the ICC was capable of doing so, despite a lot of rejections by the parties that are involved in the ICC, especially also from Europe, from Germany, but also Israel has very much tried to avoid this by filing all kinds of complaints. But the ICC has now decided to reject these complaints, and they have said that these arrest warrants should now be issued.
And indeed, there had been also a great deal of pressure step on the ICC not to issue these warrants, particularly on the Israeli government, the Israeli leadership. Why has the court chosen to do so now?
Well, the question, the case is that now there is a new presiding judge of the pre-trial chamber that was issuing these arrest warrants. The previous presiding judge has informed the court that she was sick, that there was a medical issue. So she recently stepped down after months of basically investigating the case, and suddenly she disappeared from the case. And then a new presiding judge, a French judge, is now holding this case. And very quickly after the previous judge stepped down, this decision has now been taken. So this also gives us some answers on these delays, where basically also...
Real me dumb American, but why the fuck isn't the U.S. a part of the ICC? What do you mean, dog? International organs of justice and the United Nations are simple tools of American hegemonic power, okay? Or at least historically, they have been used as tools for the West to enact whatever its agenda is. Unequal extraction of natural resources from the global South, permanent war against America's enemies or against enemies of the West, okay? But today is a different day. As America's power on the global stage wanes, many Americans are terrified of the prospect of a Chinese future, okay? But in the interim period, given Israel's unconscionable actions, given the Israeli government's inhumanity and consistent violence, unending violence, regardless of America's protection, America's attack dog gets at least one mark on its track record, on its otherwise stainless history. Okay? These institutions do not work against America or its allies. This is the first ever instance in my lifetime where I have seen this. Okay? This is fantastic. Okay? This is fucking fantastic. America can try to consistently defend Israel throughout this process, as they have and they will. But this directly puts them at odds with many reasonable, moral people in Europe that look towards this, okay? Not just in your lifetime. It's the first time since World War II it's been used against a Western nation. And, I mean, that's when it was created. Like, feeling this tweet right now? Yeah, firm believer in international rule-based order right now until Biden nukes The Hague. It is, regarding Fox News characterizing you as an American hater, it's funny because you express strong critiques for all manners of nations, including China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia. It turns out you just have an unshakable moral compass and there's no home for us anywhere. I know. And it's not that there's no home for us anywhere. It's that I want to fix the home that I'm in. Okay? Western nation in the center of the Middle East. Brother, if you think Israel is not simply an extension of the United States of America and its imperial ambitions in the region, I don't know what to tell you. You might have been in a fucking coma over the past year. Okay? Hello? Israel is America. Just letting you know. Israel is not just any Western nation. It is America. It is an extension of the United States of America. America says jump. Israel says how high, which is precisely the reason why all this Biden is so powerless in the face of Benjamin Netanyahu. Conversations were so goddamn frustrating for me because, yes, that's what it looked like. And Bibi was dog walking him for sure and taking advantage of his senility and his also rabid Zionism. Having said that, however, ultimately, this was still a part of America's imperial ambition, and I think they overstepped. This is why I said Palestine and Israel's genocide over Palestinians has laid bare for all to see the Western world's depravity Okay? Straight up, things are changing. The entire world is witnessing a in my opinion, very consequential change in the way things have worked so far. Is the arrest warrant released after the SA case at the ICJ? No. The International Court of Justice prosecutes nations. The International Criminal Court prosecutes people. So the ICC prosecution is for individuals. Okay? It's for individuals that happen to be in charge of nations doing a genocide. Benjamin Netanyahu, ICC warrants are anti-Semitic and are absurd and false lies, contrary to a true lie, I guess, so it's true. Oh, and for the record, a lot of people say, Hasan, you say America bad, but why do you always say America bad, but you never follow it up? Well, those people go, la, 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 I can't hear you when I follow it up. Okay? You must understand something very important right now. It is not an accident that every single fucking senator and every single congressperson in the United States of America, with the exception of like a handful, are currently tweeting like they're fucking Sephiroth. They're all out there tweeting like anime villains. They're baying for blood. They're seeing red. They're like, we have to nuke The Hague. Down to the wire, down to the likes of Thomas Cotton. The ICC is a kangaroo court and Kareem Khan is a deranged fanatic. Woe to him and anyone who tries to enforce these outlaw warrants. Let me give them all a friendly reminder. The American law on the ICC is known as the Hague Invasion Act for a reason. Think about it. They're cackling all right. God damn. God damn. I misspelled villain because I was so excited. I fixed it. Shut up. Holy fucking shit, just saying that out loud. Tom Cotton has literally talked about using the military on Black Lives Matter protesters, wrote about it on the New York Times. Tom Cotton has also talked about killing pro-Palestinian protesters and climate change protesters. Tom Cotton does not give a fuck. He is a straightforward Nazi. Tom Cotton, very famously, if you guys recall, was the guy who pulled up the Singaporean CEO of TikTok to be like, what kind of Chinese are you, boy? How Chinese are you, boy? You know, that sort of thing. He is a fucking virulent, racist piece of shit. Now, I will not be posting the Shinzo Abe tweet that I very famously once posted about Tom Cotton because I don't want to get in trouble. Of course, only Americans believe they are the good guys, even in Europe, across all political spectrum. I've seen people shit on the USA. Yes, and it is well deserved. It is well fucking deserved. For those who like to, for all the America good actually understanders, this is going to be a very hard day of cope. They will turn around and say, oh, America's still good. The ICC, maybe they are anti-Semitic. Maybe they're Hamas. Maybe they got Hamas tunnels under there. You know? Anyway. The U.S. rejected the warrant. We knew that they were going to reject the warrant. They have been actively pressuring the ICC's warrant application to not go through until this very moment. So that is not surprising to me, nor is it shocking to me. America can say whatever the fuck it wants. They will cope and they will seethe. Okay? EU Secretary of State. Oh, God, I'm so hard right now. I'm not even hard. I'm just elated, okay?
أنا نهلي أنا فديهم أنا دمي فلسطيني 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 أنا دمي فلسطيني على أرضي تلاقيني أنا نهلي أنا فديهم والله أنا
you if you defend Israel, okay? Suck my fucking dick. Woo! Oh my God. All right. Oh, so good. So fucking good. Oh, it feels so fucking good. We're playing propaganda again? Yes. This is a very famous pro-Palestinian song. So, of course, it's inherently going to be considered anti-Semitic because the existence of Palestine and the existence of Palestinians and any sort of mention of Palestine or Palestinians is inherently anti-Semitic according to those who choose to silence any sort of fucking criticism. So do they also disagree with the decision to issue warrants against Hamas leaders? No, that part also is like so inconsequential in the grand scheme of things because that part is expected. The unexpected part is that someone that is firmly within the American sphere of influence, but not necessarily just in the American sphere of influence, but also protected by the American government so thoroughly could ever be declared a war criminal. This is unique. This is new. This is a welcomed correction. Okay? Oh my God. Also, most of the fucking Palestinian leadership that they declared war criminals for October 7 have been assassinated by Israel regardless. So this was this is exactly what I thought as well. State Department press briefing canceled for today. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, Ana Dammi Falastini means my blood is Palestinian, by the way. Please do not laugh at this. State departments only do this when they are in great distress. Okay, citizens arrest time, baby. Citizens arrest time, baby. Woo!
Buying time because now with the new judge, apparently there was no more hesitation and he took this decision together with two other judges.
Remind our viewers, Sepp, of what the Israeli government and his former defense minister, as well as the Hamas leader, who's also been issued an arrest warrant with, what exactly are they being accused of?
Yeah, these are the crimes against humanity and war crimes. And what the prosecutor really laid out last May was that starving the population of Gaza was a very important point for him to ask for these arrest warrants, but also...
Something I noticed in my EU country subreddit suddenly seemed to be much more pro-Palestine after this warrant. Typical shit just a week ago. It was people who are pro-Israel. Yeah, a lot of liberals do care about these institutions, okay? They have not had the same cynical framework that I have been operating with because I wasn't just cynical. I was just realistic about the way things work, right? So, of course, they do care about that sort of thing. So it'll be much, much, much harder for them, I think, to defend this shit.
The fact that there have been murders, attacks, of course, from the Israeli army. But one of the things that really stood out was the fact that the Israeli authorities and the Israeli army have been starving the population of Gaza. And that's something that's a very specific war crime that also has already some experience at the ICC in previous cases. So I think the prosecutor hopes that there will be a lot of evidence that he can use to prove this case.
Okay. Steph, we know that Israel doesn't accept the jurisdiction of the ICC, doesn't recognize the jurisdiction of the ICC. So what will this mean for this case against the Israeli leadership, Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Gallant?
This will mean that every country that is part of the ICC, and from the top of my head, these are now 40 countries, they have the obligation to arrest Netanyahu, Gallant, and Dave when they come across these individuals. So this will mean in practice that it's going to be very difficult for Netanyahu to travel, and Gallant as well, to travel abroad, because the countries that are members of the ICC, for example, Germany, the UK, a lot of European countries as well, but also countries across the globe, have the obligation to arrest them and hand them over to The Hague, to the court.
Okay, Steph, for the moment, thank you very much.
Ali, great to have you with us. First, has there been any reaction to this so far in Israel?
I'm losing my fucking mind, dude. I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm shocked, okay? I'm shocked. I'm actually straight up surprised in the most pleasant way possible. I saw that article like last week or 2 weeks ago when Mossad was trying to do a last ditch effort, and they were like, "Hey, why don't we just like say Karim Khan is actually doing rapes all the time?" The prosecutor that, ironically enough, and this is the ICC prosecutor that was replaced originally. It was a lady by the name of Bensouda, who was literally straight up intimidated by Mossad. This is all straight up real shit that Israel did for even daring to investigate Israel's war crimes. So this has been an ongoing incident, okay, for a long time. The ICC, the International Criminal Court, was investigating Israel for apartheid and for war crimes for quite a while. The person who was prosecuting them potentially was harassed, intimidated, surveilled, and Benjamin Netanyahu got Donald Trump to place sanctions on her individually. It was insane. So then America and Israel were like, let's put a different guy on there. Let's put our guy on there, a guy that we like. His name, Karim Khan. Okay, these clips out of context are going to go wild on Fox News. Oh, yeah? They're going to be like, Hassan supports terrorism because he's celebrating the International Criminal Court actually doing fucking real prosecutions for once? Really? Okay. Wow, that's crazy, man. I can't believe my fucking haters that say I want to do 9/11 over and over again are going to use this as an opportunity to fucking yell about me again. It does not matter. The truth does not change. This is what I tried to explain to people yesterday when we were reading the Fox News cancel piece, the hit piece. Yeah, look at that. Look at the fucking retaliation. Award-winning investigative journalists fighting for the truth. ICC judges, we know that in reality we don't have jurisdiction, but let's try and arrest the Jews anyway. The ICC's a anti-Semitic kangaroo court. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. They want to fucking arrest us for doing a bit of war crimes. Oh, fucking hell, innit? I'm an investigative reporter. By the way, we're going to be covering the harrowing nature of Israel's crimes once again. But something to remember. Israeli Prime Minister also called it a anti-Semitic. The anti-Semitic decision of the International Criminal Court is a modern Dreyfus trial and will end the same way. Israel utterly rejects the false and absurd charges of the International Criminal Court, a biased and discriminatory political body. No war is more just than the war Israel has been waging in Gaza since October 7, 2023, when Hamas terrorist organization launched a murderous assault and perpetrated the largest massacre against the Jewish people since the Holocaust. The decision to issue an arrest warrant against the prime minister was made by a corrupt chief prosecutor who was trying to save himself from sexual harassment. See, this is what I mean. Bro, immediately, they were like, what can we do here? What can we do about Karim Khan? Oh, he's a sexual assaulter, actually. And it was funny because, like, even Western media that normally would, jump to cover these sorts of things because they love this sort of shit were like, yeah, while we want to take the allegations seriously, the timing of them were quite interesting. And it could be potentially a made up by Israel. Like, come on, dude. Come on, dude. Come on. He said, calling us war criminals for doing a genocide is anti-Semitic. Also, you're a sexual harasser. The ICC prosecutor lied when he told American senators that he would take no action until he had visited Israel and heard its side. Instead, he canceled his arrival in Israel last May, several days after suspicions of sexual harassment were made against him, and announced his intention to issue arrest warrants against Prime Minister and former Defense Minister. No anti-Israel decision will prevent the state of Israel from defending its citizens. Notice how he's mentioning sexual harassment twice now. Okay. It's just like, I think the sexual assault allegations are actually credible, but it's obviously irrelevant as to whether Netanyahu is guilty. Look, man, all I'm going to say is this, okay? It has no bearing on Karim Khan's prosecution of Israel, okay? It's also rather odd coming from the fucking state that literally was like, oh shit, we might actually get in trouble. Let's use complementarity to our advantage and prosecute some of the people that were doing mass rapes in the prisons. And then they couldn't even do that because they had an armed January 6th style rebellion where they fucking forcibly freed the rapist and made him a television star. The Israeli Knesset members turned around and were like talking about how, you know, yeah, no, you don't understand. Actually, the IDF does have a right to rape Palestinians. The fuck are you talking about? Get the fuck out of here. They had a rape January 6th, man. The fuck do you mean? Some of you motherfuckers have no way of looking at a situation like this and immediately jump. And immediately jump to like whatever. Like it works. It works for a lot of you. Look, I've never read a Western report, a Western media report, okay, that immediately was like, there were sexual harassment allegations, but the timing of that is very suspicious, considering how much Israel has tried to intervene in the ICC. Like, I'm sorry. They could be credible. They could, okay? But if you think this has any bearing on this prosecution, you are fucking delusional and you're the biggest goddamn mark, the biggest sucker, the biggest rube of all time, okay? Ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, it's like the former prosecutor, they literally personally harassed the former prosecutor before Karim Khan. You understand that, right? Like they surveilled the former prosecutor before Karim Khan. They got America to place sanctions on the former prosecutor before Karim Khan. And you have to remember, it's not just Karim Khan either. Yeah, they were stalking her. I covered it extensively. Israeli spy chief threatened ICC prosecutor over war crimes inquiry. They tapped her fucking phones to see exactly what she was actually going to create a case around so they could go back and like do some sort of prosecution to be like, yeah, what are you talking about? You can't interfere in our affairs. We're a democratic organization. We have democratic governance. We actually investigate our own war crimes, specifically the ones that, you know, we figured out by surveilling and tapping the phones of the former ICC prosecutor, Fatou Bensouda, to see exactly which war crimes she was actually focusing on so that we could actually use complementarity to our advantage as a deflection, as a shield. It's fucking insane, okay? The well is endless for depravity. Okay, dude, you're fucking insane. Anyway. So, just to help you understand a little bit about, like, you know, what is going on here. And there's a lot to talk about, but here, let's see what the ICC warrants mean.
There hasn't been any reaction officially from Netanyahu's office. I have texted officials close to the Israeli Prime Minister, but there's been no reaction yet. But we know, or we can predict, how they will react, given that when the chief prosecutor for the International Criminal Court, Karim Khan, who's a British lawyer, first sought these arrest warrants, it was met with a lot of anger and, frankly, disbelief by senior members of the Israeli government and a lot of people in Israel as well. They were disgusted at the idea that the ICC could be investigating Israeli leaders for war crimes when it was Hamas that carried out the October the 7th attacks. But the initial request by the chief prosecutor of the ICC included, as well as Netanyahu and the former now defense minister Yoav Gallant, it included the two Hamas leaders, Yahya Sinwar and Ismail Haniyeh. Well, they're now both dead, killed by Israel, so they're no longer on the charge sheet, as it were. And Mohammed Daif, another senior member, commander of Hamas, an arrest warrant has been issued for him as well. Israel says that they had killed him, but Hamas have not confirmed it officially. So effectively 3 arrest warrants have been issued by the International Criminal Court, but the 2 most significant, for obvious reasons, are those against Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant. The court, in their statement that they released, said that they have reasonable grounds to believe that those 2 men have been carrying out the war crime of starvation as a method of warfare and the crimes against humanity of murder, persecution, and other inhumane acts. Now, it's been quite a lengthy process to get to this point ever since the arrest warrants were first sought about 6 or 7 months ago. There have been a lot of legal challenges, in particular by the Israelis, against firstly the authority of the court to do this. The Israelis argue that the court doesn't have an authority to pursue claims related to Israel because they're not a signatory, or the Palestinian. But the court rejected that and said they do have jurisdiction over Palestinian territory. There's also been question marks over one of the judges on the panel and their suitability to take one of these decisions and whether or not they were suitably independent. But the court has rejected all that and has now issued these arrest warrants. So what does it mean? Well, practically, it would mean that Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant couldn't travel to any state that is a signatory of the International Criminal Court. There's around 120 countries around the world, including many European countries, including the United Kingdom. And by rights, at least according to what those countries have signed up to, were Netanyahu to travel to any of those countries, he should be arrested by the police forces of those countries. And it'll be very interesting to see actually whether or what Keir Starmer and the Labour Party government's reaction is to this. Starmer, human rights lawyer by trade, shortly after Labour came to power, they actually removed an objection or a question mark that the British.
What Gideon Levy take that scares me? Netanyahu, the ultimate victim in the eyes of many Israelis. Oh no, their fucking fascist leader that they only have increased in popularity as he's killed more babies is going to become more popular now in Israel. Yeah, I know. I don't give a fuck, okay? Fuck him. Now he can't go to Europe. Suck my dick. Now he can't go to Canada. Fuck you, Benjamin Netanyahu, okay? The only place he can travel to is going to be, the United States of America. I guess they're sweating now. Gideon Levy told Al Jazeera, he said the warrants also have a much broader meaning for Israel, the Israeli army, for individual soldiers and officers, because they can snowball to include more people. However, Israel today is united in condemning the ICC for almost wall-to-wall, Levy said. Very few in Israel are asking, how do we get to this point? He said, many Israelis don't see anything wrong with the behavior of Israel in Gaza. Levy believes Netanyahu's popularity in Israel may increase in the coming days because he is now the ultimate victim. Now it's him against the whole world, and Israelis feel that he represents all of them. I mean, they did. His popularity only increased when he did shit like this, okay? So yeah. We didn't arrive at this conclusion yesterday. This didn't happen overnight. It was a long path with fascist acceleration happening in Israel day in and day out, especially amplified through Benjamin Netanyahu's reign over Israel in the past 30 fucking years. If he actually tried to travel to those places, what are the odds he would actually be arrested? I would love to see it. No, I don't think it's zero. I think he's just not going to go to those places. I don't think it's zero. Like, people will point to Vladimir Putin, who also is a war criminal and has a warrant out for his arrest, traveling to Mongolia. I don't think that's the same. I don't think that Vladimir Putin going to Mongolia, which is supposed to abide by the Rome Statute and not fucking arresting Vladimir Putin, is the same as Benjamin Netanyahu going to the fucking heart of Europe. Mongolia is a little bit different than, I believe, South Africa, for example. Didn't Vladimir Putin not go to South Africa? Yeah. It's serious, man. It's not like that. It's not. I mean, we talk about how feckless of an institution the UN is, right? And in many respects, it's true because the Security Council trumps all, and the Security Council is dominated by a singular veto power in the hands of the United States of America. Okay? Having said that, however, this is an escalation. This is one step above that. Okay? The ICC is a pretty, I mean, it's a pretty solid, well-respected institution. And while its influence can be limited in a place like fucking Mongolia, which is very limited in what it can and can't do, right? And the ICC itself doesn't have they're not gonna use like Interpol or whatever. But they do have a network of laws in place for exactly this situation happening. Now, the interesting part about this is that it is in American law to invade The Hague if Israel or any Israeli or any American ally ever gets prosecuted in the ICC. This is real. This is a very real law in the American books. Okay? Something that I've talked about quite a bit. Not a rule that you would have if you're a good guy. Historically, good guys don't have. We will fucking blow up the International Criminal Court in their books as a rule. Okay? The Hague Invasion Act is an act that allows the president to order U.S. military action such as the invasion of the Netherlands, where The Hague is located, to protect American officials and military personnel from prosecution and rescue them from custody. Yeah. But that, in and of itself, would make America the enemy of the entire Western world, okay? I don't think they have motion like that. Remember, something that I've told you about soft power over and over again. Soft power and hard power work hand in hand, okay? Soft power and hard power work together. All of a sudden, 800 military bases can look like 800 different invasions, okay? 800 military bases will look like a collaborative security partnership as long as America is seemingly abiding by the rules or not going so far, not just getting too far out of pocket, okay? Yeah, you can invade Libya, for example. You bomb Libya with some NATO troops or whatever the fuck. You can go into Iraq. You can go into Afghanistan. But if you go into the Netherlands, well, that's an entirely different situation. You can have that law in your books, okay, as a threat. Okay, you can have that law in your books as a threat. Following through on that threat is entirely different. Now, do I think Donald Trump would do such a thing? Maybe. Who knows? He's a fucking psycho. Okay? He's an absolute psychopath. perhaps a reasonable person who is maybe not demented, who cares about the future of this country and every other country, and maybe even maintaining a shred of decency for the United States of America, what remains, would try to pack this entire situation up before it gets completely out of hand. And then Donald Trump is the one with the reins of power. But they're not going to do that because Joe Biden is a ultra nationalist for Israel.
The previous British government had submitted to the International Criminal Court. But the United States, obviously Israel's closest ally, they are not a signatory of the ICC. So in theory, Netanyahu would still be able to travel to the United States, a country that he has such a long affiliation with, a country where he grew up in, went to school in his early years. And we've already seen from the incoming Republican administration in the United States threats to sanction the ICC were they to proceed with this. So I think Netanyahu will have support on the other side of the Atlantic. Also, these ICC arrest warrants don't always get carried out. We saw President Putin, who had an arrest warrant issued for him after the invasion of Ukraine, traveled to Mongolia a couple of months ago, and nothing was done about that. He wasn't arrested when he landed in Mongolia. But in terms of the reputation of Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, in terms of their legacy, they are now wanted suspects, wanted to be put on trial for war crimes. And it is a label that will never leave them. And object to it as strongly as no doubt they will do. Nonetheless, a body of such, the International Criminal Court has...
I have an idea. Okay, I have an idea. What if you didn't do any of the war crimes and you just stopped, and then you volunteered yourself to be put in, some sort of confinement so that the prosecution could be conducted, and then went to jail for the rest of your life if that's, what they choose to do? I'm just saying, if you're innocent, go defend yourself. Go defend yourself in court. Right? I mean, that's what you would do, right, in this situation?
Decided, after many months of weighing up the evidence, that there is sufficient evidence to request arrest warrants against Israel's Prime Minister and former Defense Minister.
And Ali, you say there's been no official reaction.
This part is a little bit more tricky, but yes, Netanyahu would not be able to fly over Europe because they could potentially send jets, like fighter jets, to forcibly land his plane. Or if he has any sort of emergency landing due to mechanical or health reasons, he would, plausibly have to go to jail. Now, I don't think that they would actually fucking force, I don't think they would send fighter jets to force his plane to land. Like, I think that's a bit much. There are direct flights from Tel Aviv to JFK. No, chat, I'm just saying the opportunities are endless. I'm not saying it's going to happen. You should check the New York Times homepage right now. Oh, yeah, I'm sure they're not covering this story. It's probably not that important. It's probably like around, third, fourth, fifth most important. Matt Gaetz withdraws his Attorney General pick. It was a big story, to be fair. Inside the lobbying career of Trump's new chief of staff. Okay, that's weird. Pete Hegseth. Clean energy. Putin, threat to West. Oh, it's not even under the fold. It's like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. It's like multiple scrolls past. Wow, it's not even in the top 3 or 4 news stories in the country. It's the 5th. Netanyahu's arrest sought by International Criminal Court. Huh. That's interesting. Arrest sought by court.
To it yet, but as you point out, when the arrest warrants were requested by Karim Khan back in May, there was a lot of pushback from the Israelis because, as we've seen, there were those 2 appeals that were put in place that the ICC rejected to date. Now, it's a de facto travel ban for those countries that are part of the Rome Statute, part of the ICC. But I think the first requirement is on national courts to bring in that arrest warrant as well. And of course, Benjamin Netanyahu has his issue.
Honestly, surprised your hit piece didn't end up higher. I know yours was in a different section. New York Times is not going to do a hit piece on me. They're not that depraved. Okay, that's like leave that shit to the fucking Fox News and the New York Post of the world. Okay, that's a little bit different. New York Times is not going to do a hit piece on me yet. Let's just say. Boom. Easy money, baby. You come in here, you say some dumb shit, you know? Clap. Get clap. One silly question I have for all the people that have just not been paying attention to anything that's going on in the world. I wonder if they will at any moment go, hey, maybe I should stop watching these fucking drama farmers who are either pro-Israel or noticeably absent from the conversation until there's an opportunity to shit on Hassan for being a critic of Israel. Probably not. What? Please ban me as well. I'll stop watching you then. No. You will not get banned until you say some bigoted shit.
Issues with the Israeli courts at the moment. There are still those outstanding cases against him, and I'm not suggesting for a moment that an Israeli court would try and follow through on this arrest warrant from the ICC, but does this in any way build on some of the domestic pressure that Benjamin Netanyahu may be facing in that regard?
You're right. I don't see a situation where the Israeli High Court, for example, will demand the arrest domestically of either Netanyahu or Gallant. But you never know what might happen in the future. And that will always play on Netanyahu. You never know what a court might do in 5 years hence, 10 years hence, for example. I think there are cases, I think there is precedent for courts in...
I told you that AOC was absolutely the enemy and should be shunned from the left. Got a weak ban for it when she voted to make it illegal to not Sam Ham Israel Chai. I am vindicated. She voted to put you in jail, bro. What will it take for you to condemn her? Well, she didn't. She did not do that. She voted for I hate anti-Semitism messaging bill that was not even a bill. It was a resolution to urge to adopt the IHRA definition and codify it. She has in the past struck down and voted against IHRA codification bills, and she will continue to do so. I still do think that AOC's, like even on a messaging bill like that, the fact that AOC voted yay on it is not, it's just ridiculous, I think. Having said that, however, if you think that she would vote to put forth a bill that would put me in jail, that vote would also put her in jail as well, which is why I thought it was very silly. We talked about this yesterday. Like, my criticisms of AOC are, you know, I think fairly reasonable. Wait, she voted for the nonprofit killer? Fuck no. That's the point. She voted against the nonprofit killer. She voted against the former IHRA definition bill. Of course, she's not going to vote for the IHRA definition bill. This is a messaging bill. It's like oh, I don't like anti-Semitism is the way that they present it. And then there's urging to put the IHRA definition sneaking into that anti-Semitism bill. I still maintain the position that she should not have voted yay on it. Okay. She should not have. But this is not what do you call it? This is not like a binding bill that will implement the IHRA definition. The resolution that urges for there to be a binding bill that actually adopts the IHRA definition. And I don't think she would vote for that. And she has literally voted against it in the past, as we looked at yesterday. This is not a defense of AOC. I am still against her voting on this bill. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. Stop defending. Shut the fuck up, dude. My job is to tell you the fucking truth. I do not appreciate, nor do I think she did the right thing. Why the fuck are we talking about AOC as a moment of happiness? Shut the fuck up. My job is to explain to you things so you don't get fucking geared because you saw a bunch of wonderful people that I also like, okay, on Twitter, immediately go, AOC wants to throw you in jail for criticizing Israel, okay? I don't want you to be airheaded leftists that get duped by fucking memes. So I'm going to tell you what the truth is. Okay? This is not a defense of AOC. I don't think she did the right thing there at all. I think she did the wrong thing by voting yay on this message bill. Anyway, let's continue.
Countries to arrest their own citizens, their own past leaders, and deport them to The Hague. But it's not something I can see happening in the current state in Israel. I think this will make negotiations.
If the bill wasn't binding, then why give a fuck? No, I do give a fuck. I think it's stupid to vote in favor of bills like that. And part of the reason why I think it's stupid is because it's like the anti-socialist messaging bill that the Democrats voted on as well. And I never forgot Ro Khanna voting against it. Voting for it. Democrats are firmly committed to fighting socialism is like a dumbass fucking messaging bill that you don't have to fucking vote yes on. Anyway. Didn't Ethan say this guy was the voice of reason in the cabinet? Yes, he doesn't know anything. Like, please. And he also apologized for saying that. Okay? Like, please, guys, come on. Yes, Ethan, regardless of the way he presents himself or has presented himself from in this entire process, is like, I think a lot of you think that he's just like actively, knowledgeable on this stuff and is just like firmly committed to a position. Like, I think he's just, again, this is also not a defense of Ethan, who has actively tried to get me deplatformed for being pro-Palestinian, okay? Consistently claiming that I am creating an environment for anti-Semitism. One of the most vicious smears coming from a person that I knew personally. Just remember that, okay? Like, he doesn't know anything. Stop. He didn't apologize, Zan. He doubled down. I thought he did. I thought he was like, yeah, we didn't know. I thought he said his wife didn't know enough. Which, you can be like, what the fuck do you mean? It's been a year. But I thought it was more so. I just don't want to even bring up Ethan, man. It's a fucking distraction. It's so dumb. Shut up. Oh, God. It's an even bigger distraction and stupid thing to talk about in this moment. Please, let's move on and let's eyes on the prize, lock in.
Negotiations to bring about a ceasefire in Gaza potentially harder. I mean, they're difficult enough as it is at the moment. In terms of the timing of this, I think there probably are two factors. One is what is going on in northern Gaza at the moment, because Israel is being accused of carrying out anything between ethnic cleansing and genocide. I should point out the accusation of genocide is an accusation. It is not been formally labelled as such. That is a matter for another court, the ICJ, the International Court of Justice. But those are the accusations that are being labelled at the Israeli government and the Israeli military for their actions in northern Gaza right now. And secondly, I do think that incoming Trump administration might have played a factor into the timing for the release of this announcement as well. So it will probably complicate matters when it comes to trying to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza. We will have to see how Benjamin Netanyahu reacts. I can't think that he will leave it long before releasing some form of statement, or something will come out from the Prime Minister's office. But in the past, he has been very defiant about his own actions. And a lot of Israelis, I would say, were appalled at the idea, even if they don't like or support Benjamin Netanyahu, they were appalled at the idea that Israel's leaders could be on the same.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's how you know motherfuckers are not with it, okay? Imagine the celebrations in this community if the ICC put forth an arrest warrant application for Joseph Robinette Brandon. I would, which by the way would be perfectly valid, just so you understand. They would never do that because that's like a bridge too far, obviously. But like, that's the difference. That's the difference between people who are with it, okay, and people who are phony. Yair Lapid, you're fucking phony, okay? Stop hitting the weights, bitch. I get it. You got a great fucking hairline for your goddamn age. What happened to being a part of the fuck Benjamin Netanyahu coalition? Huh? You bitch. You centrist bitch. Imagine the tears of joy that we would cry if George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, fuck it, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Joe Biden would be brought forth in front of the ICC. Tony Blair. Oh, that's the difference. These guys, they just don't want it. They're not real with it. They're not about it. They're not about this lifestyle. They just aesthetically are like, oh yeah, we hate Benjamin Netanyahu. Hillary Clinton, oh my God, for the crimes in Libya. Oh my God. That's why I was excited for Donald Trump when he said, lock her up. I thought to myself, one can only hope. Okay, Hillary Clinton going to jail for some other dumb shit. But in my mind, in my headcanon, it would be for her crimes in Haiti and her crimes in Libya. Oh, fuck it. Throw Bill in there too. God damn.
Charge sheet as
Look, dude, brother, I guarantee you the AOC would have you arrested for a committee appointment. She literally said Kamala was tirelessly working. Yes, yes, dude. You're right. AOC is the biggest enemy of the left. You got it. It's certainly not the hyperfixation of every fucking permanently online left is like criticizing AOC for silly shit that she says like this, okay, or cozying up and criticizing her bad political instincts for cozying up to the Biden administration is one thing. Saying that she is like the enemy of the left or like she is the biggest enemy in the entirety of Congress when she outflanked Bernie Sanders on calling Israel's actions in Gaza a genocide far before anyone else in Congress did, with the exception of Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. Please stop. Like, stop. I don't care, man. I don't. You're never gonna fucking penetrate the attitude that I have. Okay. I don't understand. Leftists get in their own fucking damn way every time, dude. They get in their own damn way all the fucking time. Like, this is supposed to be a moment of celebration, okay? And what are people doing online? They're like, fuck AOC.